Startup, agency, or big company? Which is the best to work at and why? Let's get into it. Devs, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Derek. I'm a front-end developer based out of Los Angeles, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the differences between working at a startup versus an agency versus a big established tech company, and what I think is the best and why. I've had roles at all three types, so let's get into it and kick things off with startups. Look, we're devs, okay? We've all likely to have seen The Social Network, Steve Jobs, Silicon Valley, Halt and Catch Fire. And these are all amazing pieces of entertainment that revolve around startup culture, and I can't recommend them enough. They're great. They just fucking get you going, don't they? They glorify the hustle and the grinding and the creativity and excitement that comes within the tech startup world, but let us not forget their portrayal of the dark side of it as well. It's not all rainbows and sunshines, baby. There are plenty of pros and cons. Startups are raw. They are cutthroat, and you, as a developer resource, are entirely expendable. Trust me. They will kick you to the unemployment line faster than you can react to a hacker's sniper glint in Call of Duty. All that being said, though, here are a few call outs about working at a startup. First up is going to be the culture and environment. Things are energetic, fast paced, and this is great if you're young and just starting out. It is actually a very motivating and energetic atmosphere to be in. Every day will bring new challenges, and typically the team feels like very tight knit, very close. Not a family though. Not a family though. God, I hate that. I can't stand that term. They are not your family. They are your coworkers. But things at startups are also pretty flexible. They have a casual dress code, a lot of open communication, because startups have a just very collaborative spirit to them. And sometimes there's a foosball table and beanbags. Sick. It's just basically a nice, comfy place to sit when you inevitably crash out due to the over-demanding stress of the job. Another thing about startups, though, would be the learning and growth opportunities. Startups do offer exposure to multiple roles, allowing you to wear different hats and gain a just really diverse set of skills. Plus, the opportunity to work closely with the founders and stakeholders, so things are just very hands-on at startups. They also require a lot from you. You will be asked to do things you've never done before and with a tight deadline. So like, dog, you better figure it out. You're going to have to deliver and then explain yourself if you can't, and that can be just nerve-wracking as hell. Now, let's talk compensation and benefits. This one can definitely vary. You have the potential for acquiring equity, stock options, and the possibility of a significant payout if the company succeeds. Benefits can definitely be, a little stingy though. You'll either be offered full medical, dental, and optical, or nothing at all. So it's kind of a gamble there. Startups all vary in that area, and it's also very dependent on how much financial runway the startup has or how much venture capital has been dumped into it. Now let's talk work-life balance. As previously mentioned, it is a high-pressure environment, has long hours, and comes with a massive potential for burnout. It's just the nature of it, so that is definitely something to be wary of. But you can have impact and influence. Startups give you the ability to make a direct impact on the MVP, that's the minimum viable product, also the company's overall direction and its overall success, because since startups are small, every team member's contribution is very significant. So that's startups. Now let's talk agencies. Agencies suck. Not rocking with them. I'm not a fan. I would not go back to an agency if you paid me, and that is literally exactly what they would do. The agency work structure is just, it sucks. It's not for me, but I do think that working at an agency when you're early in your career path does have benefits. So say if it's like your second or third role, for example. And the first one would be client variety and project diversity. No two projects you get at an agency are ever going to be alike. Just about everything you work on is going to be unique, and this makes for a great environment for skilling up. You'll also get the opportunity to work with a wide range of clients across different industries, which can keep the work challenging and interesting, which I think is a benefit. Now, I want to mention skill development as well. Like previously mentioned, every client's requirements are going to be unique, and sometimes their ask is going to be very high effort. So you will just have to classify this as some tactical stress and basically force yourself to learn some new things in order to deliver on those said tasks. So you can at startups, or excuse me, at agencies really learn a lot. Now let's talk workplace and pressure. Agencies are strictly deadline driven, and this is also paired with billable hours. At an agency, you have to keep track of and log your time. So there is basically full accountability with all projects at all times. So there's no messing around or like taking a chill, slow afternoon, especially like on a Friday or something, and just like digging around on your phone or something like that. You can't get away with that at an agency. You are expected to work and fill a full 8-hour day with 8 billable hours every day. And that structure, that framework is not for everybody. So that's something to keep in mind. Now let's talk career advancement. There just isn't a ton of room to climb the ranks at an agency. Agencies are typically small teams. For example, the one that I worked at years ago, the entire company was, I believe, 25 people or less. You got a handful of designers, a handful of developers, you got the project managers, and then some leadership, and that's typically about it. It's an agency. Of course, it's small. And that, unfortunately, doesn't leave a lot of room for advancement. And the last thing I'll mention with agencies is the work-life balance. At an agency, like a startup, expect long hours from time to time. Remember, it is project-based and deadline-based, and it's called a deadline because if you cross it and the deliverables aren't ready, you're dead. You're going to be in some shit. So be prepared to log some overtime, and that's even if the client has a budget for that. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword there. So in summary, fuck agencies. I'm sorry, I'll never go back. I'm not going back to that life. Like I'm Gucci. I'm good. Now let's get into big companies, aka big tech. This is where I'm currently working, and it definitely has its pros and cons as well. But right out the gate, like let's just get into it. Let's talk about compensation. Big companies, big tech type jobs typically have high compensation because the barrier for entry in big tech at a large company is typically very high, and the interview process is long and arduous and challenging, especially for us developers. Once you've gotten your foot in the door, you're in, baby. And if we're keeping it real, salaries typically are on the higher side, even for lower level and junior level folks. And it's because they have the financial model and fiscal revenue to deploy that and not only attract top talent, but retain it as well. So the second thing I'll mention about a big company is benefits and perks. There is typically a myriad of company benefits available to you once you're in, and that is just something you don't get at startups and agencies. For example, at my current role, we receive so many benefits at Activision, aka Microsoft, that we have an entire company website dedicated to outlining them and providing details on all of them, just because we have so many. There's everything from family planning to fitness memberships to getting financial advice and therapy and even mental health services. It's very comprehensive and very generous. The next thing I'll mention about big companies is career trajectory. You actually do have the opportunity to move up at a big company because it's just that. It's big. Teams are large and they have the room, unlike smaller teams like at startups and agencies. So the opportunity for growth and promotions are a little more abundant. Even though most jobs and companies kind of are stingy here, at a bigger company, you at least have a better chance of that. Another thing about big tech or working at a big company is brand recognition. If you're on board at a company that has a household name, and then that's going to basically win you some serious points on the resume. Having gained work experience at a big name company does set the bar for you slightly more at an established level, and that could potentially open future doors for you for future opportunities. It's like street cred, but in the corporate world, basically. But it's still credibility nonetheless. And the last thing I'll mention about big companies is job security. I can't even say this one with a straight face. Clearly I'm fucking around. This doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing as job security. Not for you, not for anyone. Seriously. Junior, mid, senior level management, it doesn't matter. We're all just numbers on a spreadsheet somewhere in Workday probably, and we just live on a hard drive somewhere. But yet, job security. That's that's a video for another day. So of these three types, what do I think is the best to work at and why? Now, I may sound a little biased here, but as somebody who's had roles at all three, hands down, it's big tech. Easy. It's still the corporate world, but the opportunities that have presented themselves, the networking, the exposure, the chance to work on globally known brands that are enjoyed by millions of people worldwide, including myself, it's bar none. Nothing even comes close. I've been very fortunate and grateful to be in this position, but like I just said, I could be gone tomorrow, baby, and without a moment's notice. So no matter where you work right now, whether it's a startup, an agency, a big company, just take a knee. Take a knee, slow down, and be grateful for that paycheck, because regardless of where you work and how much you may love your job, it does not love you back. I promise you. So that's about it for this one, devs. Those are my thoughts on working at agencies versus a startup versus a big established tech company. Hopefully you found this insightful. If so, feel free to like this video or drop your comments below of your experiences if you've worked at any of these types of companies. But that is going to do it for this one. I'm going to head out. But as always, if you want to support the channel, all you have to do is